Hey everyone, today I'm diving into a yarn review for this super cute yarn that I picked up recently. Plus, stick around to see the reveal of my now forever free amethyst shawl crochet pattern that I remade with this yarn that I will be releasing soon. Plus, a remake of one of my favorite free patterns, the Mobius cowl. So I recently did a second Temu haul to pick up some knit items and found a couple of different yarns that I couldn't resist picking up. I'll link that video just in case you haven't seen it yet and want to see the whole haul. Anyway, this yarn actually had a name, very unique for Temu you'll find, and it's called the Charm Elves Gradient Yarn, and it comes in a pack of 6 balls, and the website notes that it's a total of 300 grams weight, all for just a little over $10. So right off the bat, that is a pretty great deal. However, like other Temu yarns I've reviewed, there was no ball band included. On the website and bag it came in, it just noted that it was a blend of 40% acrylic, 30% wool, 20% nylon, and 10% mohair, so quite a mix. And of course, like most of the Temu yarns, there was no yarn weight or yardage listed. So I put it through my very handy yardage counter that I'm using often on these Temu yarns and found that each ball measures about 140 meters or 150 yards. So that gave me a total of 840 meters or right around 925 yards. With that amount, you can create a couple of scarves or even a generous size shawl in knit or crochet with just one order of the yarn, which is not bad for about $10. But if the yarn is horrible to work with, it really won't matter how cheap it is. But before I get into my thoughts on the yarn, be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell to be alerted when new reviews and free patterns drop. So my first impressions of the yarn were that I loved the look of it, especially the self-striping and the little white nubs that are scattered throughout. It's fairly soft, but it's not the kind of yarn you grab and gush over how squishy it is. This yarn is kind of all about the aesthetics and not necessarily the feel. Now let's talk about the hook size. The website description stated that they recommended a 2mm crochet hook or 3mm knitting needles. Usually the hook size should be larger than the needle size when yarn gives you a recommendation, as it's easier to achieve drape with knitting than crochet, and the larger the hook, the more drape you get. Unfortunately, even with crochet's growing popularity these days, a lot of yarn makers still only cater to knitters, and crochet sizes are an afterthought or not at all thought about what you should use, and some don't even list hook sizes on their ball band. But I digress. Let's get back to the Temu yarn recommendation. While this yarn reminded me more of a worsted weight yarn and not a lightweight yarn that you would usually use with a small hook like that, I decided to make 2 swatches, one with the 2mm crochet hook and one with the 3mm knitting needles to see how the fabric worked up with their recommendations. As you can see, I gave up on my crochet swatch. This is like 3 rows. There is no way even an experienced crocheter would put up with trying to use a 2mm crochet hook with this yarn. So to put it in perspective, the shawl and cowl I'm about to show you were made with a 6mm hook, a huge jump in size. Can't talk today. The yarn is really sticky, and the nubs make using a small hook nearly impossible. They just get stuck everywhere and it doesn't pull through easily. Even the 3mm needle swatch was somewhat a pain to make, but as you can see, it turned out better than the crochet swatch. It kind of worked a little better, but it was still kind of difficult to get through with those smaller needles and those big nubs. So my suggestion, go bigger with both if you get frustrated easily. I definitely would not recommend this yarn for a beginner because you will blame yourself for your project being difficult when it is really the yarn's fault. Plus, the yarn is not frogging friendly, so if you have to rip it out because of a mistake, it will be a lot of a task. Thankfully though, because of the yarn's makeup, it doesn't break when you're frogging, so that's a plus. But this yarn should only be purchased if you have a specific project in mind and you're not experimenting with something on your own where you may need to rip out stitches often. Trust me on this. While I will show you the soon to be released free amethyst shawl, I also used one of the balls to whip up a Mobius cowl from my free crochet patterns, which I'll link that pattern in the description below. This is more of a dense project, so you can see how the nubs and colors play out. I really love the long color changes on the yarn, which is great for crochet, and the Mobius cowl had just the right amount of stitches to have this mirror effect play out as the cowl was made. If you're not familiar with what a Mobius strip or loop is, I've got a video tutorial for this pattern that goes with it so that you can see what that is and if you'd like to make one for yourself. So overall, I love the look of this yarn, but there are some things you have to be ready for when working with it. If you're new to crocheting or knitting, I would say hold off on buying this until you are very comfortable making and taking out stitches, as this will not be a fun process for you. If you are loving the look of the yarn and ready for the challenge, this is a great deal. I still have 3 balls left from working the 2 patterns and swatches I made, so I'm sure I'll use it for something else because it is so cute. The feel is soft enough, but for people with wool allergies or sensitive skin, I would probably pass as well because of the makeup. Originally, I gave this yarn 3 stars because I was already envisioning how difficult it might be to work with it and the feel of it, and I think I'm gonna stick with 3 stars. It's gonna be good if you are experienced and you like the look of it for a specific project, but the stickiness and frogging challenge, along with it not being as soft as I would want it to be, makes it a yarn not made for all levels of knitters and crocheters. And now for the big reveal, my new forever free amethyst shawl crochet pattern. This was a paid pattern in my shop, but I've retired it to be a free pattern from now on. I think this yarn really makes it fun and cute, and you can see those long colorways that play out great with crochet, but you can substitute with any worsted weight yarn. It's a fairly easy project, and I'll be releasing it and sharing a step-by-step tutorial soon so you can make this airy shawl yourself. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you won't miss when it drops. So do you like the look of this yarn? Would you want to try using it? Leave me a comment with your thoughts or share your favorite yarn finds. Don't forget to check out the free Mobius pattern link below. I am Deja with Knit and Crochet Ever After, and thank you for watching.